Hello dear students, welcome to Bajirao Ias Academy. So in this lecture we are going to discuss about a very important topic. So this is a very frequently in news. It is also in news because India has launched several scientific missions to this particular continent. Okay, so that is the Antarctica continent. Okay, so that is the Antarctic continent in the southern pole of the earth, southern pole of the planet earth. See, before discussing this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also hit the like button, okay, so that it motivates us to bring more and more new videos and new content to you. Okay, so the Antarctic Treaty actually governs all aspects related to the Antarctica continent. Now if we can understand some facts about the Antarctica continent, so the area which is 60 degrees south in the southern hemisphere of the earth can be called or can be part of the Antarctic continent. Okay, so that could be part of the Antarctic continent, and here one limitation is that the seas which surrounds this continent will not be considered as the Antarctica continent. Okay, so this is the one limitation. However, several countries have established their scientific research centers in the Antarctica continent. So India has also established several of them. So therefore, in this context, there is a treaty which is called as Antarctic Treaty. Okay, so Antarctic Treaty. So that is Antarctic Treaty of 1959. So in this context, in this specific context, we will understand. So what is this Antarctic Treaty of 1951? So what are the member countries which are part of this Antarctic Treaty? So India is part of this Antarctic Treaty. So we will understand everything with respect to the Antarctic Treaty, and this will be very important for your prelims examination. Okay, so this is very important for the prelims examination. Now Antarctic Treaty was signed in the year 1959, Washington, United States. Okay, so earlier when it was signed, only 12 countries were part of the Antarctic Treaty. Okay, so this Antarctic Treaty earlier was signed only for the scientific purposes. However, it came into force fully in the year 1961. Okay, so Antarctic Treaty was signed in the year 1959, but it came into force in the year 1959. So however, every treaty has its aims, objectives, and similarly Antarctic Treaty also has a certain aims. Okay, so first and foremost, the world has been a place where there are different geopolitical contentions, so different claims for the territory by different countries. So therefore, ultimately the objective of this Antarctica Treaty is to make Antarctic a demilitarized zone. So no military activities or no tests meant for the military purposes should be conducted on the Antarctic land. Okay, so this is one of the aim of the Antarctic Treaty of 1959. So apart from this, another major aim was Antarctica should be used only for the scientific research. Okay, so it should only be used for the scientific research only, and it should not be used for the military purposes. This is the objective of the treaty. Now, as I have already told you, Antarctica generally includes 60 degree south latitudes of the southern hemisphere. Okay, so however, this will not cover the seas surrounding the Antarctic continent. Okay, so this will not covers the seas which surrounds the Antarctic continent. Okay, so however, when we talk about the parties which are part of the Antarctica Treaty, so parties which are part of the Antarctic Treaty are 56, and India is also a member country of this Antarctic Treaty because India was become a member of this Antarctic Treaty in the year 1983 itself. So we will also understand the secretariat as well. Where the secretariat has located? It has located in Argentina, Buenos Aires. Okay, so Argentina, Buenos Aires. So however, total 59 countries were part of the Antarctic Treaty. So however, earlier I have told you that 12 members countries were originally part of the Antarctic Treaty when it was signed in the year 1959. Okay, so what were those original 12 countries? They include Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Chile, France, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, South Africa, UK, USA, and erstwhile USSR. Right? So all these countries were part of the 12 original signatories of this Antarctica Treaty. So part of the Antarctica Treaty that was signed in the year 1959 and came into force in the year 1961. So however, the Antarctic Treaty has mandated certain points. Okay, so it has maintained, it has provided for certain guidelines, certain provisions. So first and foremost is that it should not be used for any military purposes. No military tests should be conducted, no military experiments should be conducted. Rather, it should only used for the scientific purposes. Okay, it should only be used for the scientific purposes, but not for the military purposes, right? So after that, we need to talk about the scientific aspect of Antarctic Treaty. So freedom of science investigation to every party which is part of the Antarctic Treaty is allowed. Okay, so along with India, there are different other countries which have established their research stations in Antarctica. So therefore, all these countries can freely exchange the scientific data, scientific plans, and what are their plans with respect to the science and their observatories. Everything can be exchanged freely with other members of the Antarctica Treaty. And the other major provision of this Antarctic Treaty is that no territorial claims on the Antarctic. Okay, so if any country have any territorial claims, so they simply put on hold as part of this Antarctic Treaty. Okay, so it is also declared as a nuclear free zone. What does nuclear free zone means? That so no nuclear tests should be conducted in Antarctica. So it is a nuclear free zone. So this Antarctic Treaty is only applies for the land, and it will not cover the seas which surrounding the Antarctica Treaty. That you have to understand. The distinction you should understand. And here all stations of different countries which are located across Antarctica are open for inspection by other countries. So this essentially means, imagine here India has a research station. Okay, so India has a research station, and here China has another research station. So here India can inspect the Chinese research station, and China can also do vice versa. So there are no restrictions. Every country can inspect the research stations of other countries. And apart from that, the national laws applies to citizens and not to the areas. For example, each country have their national laws, and these national laws specifically applies to citizens who have gone to Antarctica for research purposes. Okay, so those national laws would apply to citizens, not to the areas in the Antarctic. However, in a future date, so when conditions or need arises, the treaty can be modified at any time. However, the treaty which is modified requires anonymous agreement of the treaty nations. So all the member countries must support this treaty agreement. Okay, so all treaty nations ensure no one carries out acts against the treaty. So everyone should be bound by the treaty rules. No one should act against the rules of the treaty. So however, when the treaty came into force, or before this treaty, so there were different countries who have the claims over this Antarctic land. Okay, so as per Antarctic Treaty, the historical claims before the treaty are all put on hold. Okay, so now these claims were not considered as part of the Antarctic Treaty, but all claims of different other countries were just put on hold. Okay, so they were neither recognized nor disregarded. Okay, so you have to understand this, they are not disregarded or not recognized. Okay, so and apart from that, no new claims can be made while treaty is in force. So this is also one of the provision of the Antarctic Treaty of 1959. So however, we have discussed that several countries have historical claims over the land of Antarctica. Now what are those countries? 7 countries which have these claims. So they are Australia, New Zealand, Argentina, Chile, France, Norway and UK. So these are the countries which have the historical claims, over the Antarctica land, Antarctica continent. So apart from this Antarctica treaty, it also has several supplementary agreements or supplementary conventions. So first convention is Convention on the Conservation of Antarctic Seals 1972, and second, Convention on the Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources and Protocol on Environmental Protection in 1991. So these were 3 supplementary agreements meant for the Antarctic ecosystem protection, Okay, so every country must cooperate or act in compliance with these 3 conventions in order to protect and preserve the environment, the natural environment in Antarctica continent. So here some facts we have to understand about Antarctica. So it denotes all land and ice shelf. Okay, so Antarctica continent usually denotes all the land as well as the ice shelf. So that is south of 60-degree latitudes. Okay, so but it will not cover the surrounding seas or waters. So in terms of area, Antarctica is the 5th largest continent. Okay, so in terms of total land area, so this is in fact larger than the Oceania and Europe. So where is this located? It is located in the Pacific Ocean. Okay, so this Oceania is located in the Pacific Ocean. So apart from that, it covers around 70% of the world's freshwater frozen as ice and 90% of all world's ice, right? So 90% of the all world's ice is located in Antarctic continent itself. Okay, so just 0.32% of the total area in Antarctica is actually considered as ice-free zone. So it has certain features. So what are the features? The features are Ross ice shelf about the size of France. Okay, so Ross ice shelf, so that is the size of France. And secondly, Rhone-Flechtner ice shelf, that is about the size of Spain. Okay, so these are the 2 largest ice shelves in Antarctica. So after that, the Mount Vinson, so this is considered as highest mountain in Antarctica. Now when we talk about the population, there are no permanent population, there are no permanent settled residents in Antarctica, because there were no native population. Rather, the scientists who have been went there for the purpose of research are the only people who are residing in the Antarctica. Why? Because there were extreme conditions, and it would not be possible for the human beings to survive in those extreme conditions. So therefore, the scientists who have gone to Antarctica for the purpose of research are the only residents. Okay, so they have went there for the temporary research purpose. So this is all about the Antarctic Treaty. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also hit the bell icon. Thank you.